welcome to Navajo County Connection. I'm your host, Jason Whiting, Navajo County Supervisor for District 3, and we're glad to have you with us today. Hope you're settling into a nice 2017. I know that we are. With a brand new year brings new opportunities and sometimes new faces. As many of you know, we recently had an election and we have some new faces and elected officials at Navajo County, and we have one of them here with us today. We have newly elected County Recorder Doris Clark with us here today. Want to talk with her a little bit about her role as County Recorder, but we also want to talk with her about who she is and get to know her a little bit more and let our audience get to know her better. I also understand that it's your birthday today, is that right?
It is.
You weren't prepared for that question, but I wanted to bring it up and recognize you, and a happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
So glad it's your birthday. If you don't mind, before we get into the business of matters, do you mind talking to us a little bit about who you are? Tell us a little about your family and you.
I grew up in Indian Wells. It's on the Navajo Reservation about 45 miles north of Holbrook. And I have 5 sisters. And then I've got my husband, Alfred Clark. We've been married 35 years. We have 4 children, 3 grandchildren, and we also have 2 young foster kids in our home also. So I've been pretty much a resident of Navajo County. 8 years. I did go to school with the LDS Indian Placement Program in Utah. So I would go to school 9 months out of the year, come home for the summer. So I would say I've been a resident pretty much all my life of Navajo County.
Well, we're fortunate to have you here today. As busy as you are, I mean, full-time mom, full-time county recorder, you've got all kinds of stuff going on there. Thanks for all that you do. You'd mentioned you have a number of kids. Are any of them able to stay home? Any of them in the area?
Yes, I've got 2 of them are out at Indian Wells, and then I've got actually a daughter here that lives in Lakeside. And then I've got the other one in Phoenix.
It's nice to have family around, at least somewhat close, and we're glad that you're able to have some of your family around with you. Now let's start talking a little bit about your office that you hold. You made a decision to run for that position, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what made you decide to run?
Well, I've worked in that office for many years when Jay Turley was the county recorder. I came on in 1990 and worked there for 22 years as a voter outreach, also an election specialist. And so when I heard that the county recorder, Lorette Justman, was retiring, I thought, this is a great opportunity for me. Let's see where it takes me. So I thought, well, I will take out a packet and run for it. And this is where I'm at.
Well, you obviously were successful in running, and we're glad to have you on board. I wanted to ask you a little bit, as far as county recorder, not all of the viewers know some of the responsibilities and what the county recorder does. Do you mind kind of taking us through some of those, what you do in your position and what your office and team does?
No, I don't mind. We have 3 divisions in our office. We have the recording section, and there we take in documents to be recorded, and we preserve those recordings for public record. And then we have the voter registration department, where we keep track of all the voter records and all the early voting, or all the early voters if they want to vote early. But we have like over 65,000 registered voters now, so we take care of those. And then also we have the elections department, and so the other job of the county recorder is she's the chief election officer for the county to make sure things go well, polling places and such.
Do you feel like your experience helped you in your run for this office?
I believe so. It did. I've trained poll workers, recruited them. I've got, we did interpreters. I think the, overall experience over the 22 years, I think really helped me. And I had excellent county recorders and staff members that helped me along the way, and I've learned a lot from them. One of the things that we also did was go to high schools throughout the county, register the seniors in their government classes. And we are excited that we're bringing that program back. We've got Sholo High School that we'll be coming to on February 14th. Alchese, we're scheduled to be there February 2nd. So we go into their government class and then we register them to vote. They get the experience of voting on the new machines.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So it sounds like your experience will lend well and almost immediately to our citizens here in Navajo County, that you're already starting your outreach and education and starting with some of our youth is what it sounds like. And you said that the program you used to help run this in the past, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. If you don't mind, I understand there's some events that may be coming up or some elections or different things. Do you mind kind of walking us through what may be happening in the near future?
Yeah, we've got March elections coming up. We've got March 14th, we have 3 elections. One of them is the Timberland Acres Road District is having a question on their ballot, and the White Mountain Lake Road District is also, I've got a question on their ballot. Town of Taylor, and these 3 are all mail elections. So all the ballots will be mailed to the voters that are registered in those within those districts. So, and the last day to register to vote, which is really important, is going to be Monday, February the 13th.
Okay, so Monday, February 13th is the last day they'll be able to register if they're inside those jurisdictions to be able to vote. So, well, thank you for sharing that with us. Obviously, that's an important bit of information for those viewers that are in those areas that they'll know to be aware so that they can vote. And that's all mail?
It'll be all mail.
Okay. Is there a reason why they do all mail? I'm just curious.
You know, from what I've heard, there's better turnouts. And it keeps, you know, having to locate the poll workers and train them. And so, and I've heard that it is a higher turnout when it's all mail.
Okay. Well, that would make sense. It sounds like it would be a great service to those citizens that are looking to do that. For citizens that are wanting to get in touch with your office, you have offices located not just in Holbrook but in other locations. Where all are your offices located? Okay,
our main office is in Holbrook at the Navajo County Governmental Complex, and then we've got one here in Sholo. It's at 550 North 9th Place, and the individual there will record documents on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and they will record Thursdays and Fridays by appointment only. So, and they're open 8 to 5 on all week. And then we've got satellite office locations, but right now we do not have any existing satellite locations, and we will put them on the website when we fill the voter outreach position. Right now it's vacant. And we usually have one in White River and Pinon and Kayenta. And those are just one-day visits, so they're not, you know, 8 to 5, several days a week.
Yeah. Do you see a migration of some of these services online for people to be able to go online and be able to do some of the paperwork there?
I still new, so I haven't really seen the activity from the web.
Yeah.
But I've seen where I've gotten questions, the majority of them have been regarding recordings.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'd like to provide more information on the web, you know, as far as election information in different languages and also the Native American languages. And then also even provide the poll workers trainings, the videos, see if we could post those on. And those are just some of the things that I've been thinking about doing.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like that you obviously have experience, and with that experience, you've been able to create a vision and direction that you're wanting to go that'll benefit our citizens here in Navajo County, and you're already starting with some of that outreach. So we certainly are excited to have you on board and look forward to working with you. Is there anything else that you'd want our citizens to know in Navajo County?
Yeah, I'd like them to know that our voter outreach, even though they're bilingual voter outreach, we can go anywhere. If Heber senior citizens called and said, hey, we're having a big event, please come out, we would be more than glad to do it, you know, or anywhere in the county. They're not that voter outreach is not specifically just for the reservations. So voter outreach is, if anybody out there wants us to come and do election voter registration drive, we'd be more than happy to do it.
Well, I'm sure I know that I appreciate your forward thinkingness and looking for opportunities for all the citizens, and I'm sure that each of them appreciate that as well. You'll do a great job and really look forward to working with you. That'll conclude our first segment of Navajo County Connection. When we come back, we'll be talking about oral hygiene. So we look forward to having that conversation here shortly. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to Navajo County Connection. We're glad to have Shauna Clements here with us with the Public Health Services District, and we're going to talk oral hygiene. I guess it's Oral Hygiene Month this month, and an important conversation to be had. But before we have that conversation, do you mind kind of introducing yourself to our citizens and let them know a little about yourself, who you are, and how long you've been in the area?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Shauna Clements, and I've lived up on the mountain for going on about 6 years. My husband brought me up here. He is a resident of St. John's. So I'm actually from the Midwest, and when I heard it actually snowed here, I was very excited and pushed him for a transfer. So he transferred up here, and now we reside up here.
It's a beautiful place to live. I travel quite a bit on business, and people ask me all the time where I live, and I live in Snowflake. And so when I tell them Snowflake, Arizona, they always say, "Isn't that kind of an oxymoron?" And is that a reality? And they think there's cactuses all over Snowflake. So
right.
It's nice to know that there's trees and mountains around us, and quite a bit of snow today that we have around us. So, anyways, we appreciate you being here and talking with us. Explain the month as far as the purpose of oral hygiene and why it's so important, and we have a month to focus on that for our citizens.
Well, I think oral hygiene is important. We focus on oral health throughout the year, and we just try and push it a little bit harder in February. So we team up with our local Head Starts and other preschool centers to really educate the little kids, because I think we all know that when we learn something in a habit or a behavior as a child, it just becomes repetitive as an adult.
So if I don't, I'm that kid that doesn't brush my teeth, and I'm horrible, don't listen to my parents. What's my path look like if I'm not practicing good oral hygiene?
Well, there's infection. So, everything from a toothache all the way to an abscess, which is actually an infection in your mouth, leads to other issues throughout the body. So remember that your mouth is the gateway to your body. So whatever goes on in here affects your body. We've seen a lot of our children that actually miss school more for oral health issues, for a lack of a better word, than any other sickness.
Outstanding. I'm wondering if some of these things will work with my kids as I'm trying to get them to brush their teeth. So the mouth is the gateway to the rest of the body. That's a term I'm going to use with them,
Absolutely,
I think. So,
yeah.
Okay, I like that. That makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
What are some of the practices that you would say that should be implemented? Just simple things that we should be doing within our home.
Oh, great question. So I believe that everybody should see their local hygienist twice a year, and that's something that is covered by insurance. So it's not something that you're going to have to worry about coming out of pocket. And Access will cover that up through the age of 21. So that's nice to know, as well as brushing our teeth twice a day. So if you can remember twos, that would be great. The other thing that we'd like to focus on is seeing your dentist when your child reaches at least their first tooth, if not prior to. It creates that habit in the dentist chair, and then it's not a fight for the parent on a consistent basis. So
very familiar with that fight. Now, you talked earlier about some of the outreach as far as with Head Start and some of the partnerships with the schools. Do you mind talking a little bit more about what are you doing with Head Start? Like, how are you educating the public on some of these things? Because obviously it's an important topic.
It is. So we have health educators that are in our communities all the way through Navajo and Apache counties on and off reservations. So we like to reach out far, as well as we have other different grants that reaches all the way into Gila County. So we reach out to our parents. A lot of it's just education. Mom, dads, a little bit, a toothbrush is better than nothing. So getting the children in that habit. We reach out to our local preschools, because that's where our funding source focuses on, 0 to 5 pre-K, and educating those children. Those children reach the homes and educate mom. They educate older brother and sister, just on the basic practices. So.
You obviously have a lot of experience on this. You've told me. Do you mind telling us, is there any events coming up or any opportunities for people to learn more about this?
Sure. We don't have any specific outreach events focused on February. We kind of focus it throughout the year, but we are in almost every preschool, daycare center, or in-home center that's registered with DES that provide a free screening and fluoride varnish application as long as we have parental consent. There's some locations that allow parents who maybe homeschool or just don't choose to use a preschool system to come into the environment, as well as your local WIC offices, health departments, and things of that sort where we sit out in the waiting room. Education materials, free screenings, and again, that varnish application.
So as I'm sure this will pique some interest
Yeah.
for people within our communities, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys
Sure.
to find out more information?
Absolutely. I can be reached at the Navajo County Public Health Office here in Sholo. The phone number is 928-532-6050, and my extension is 5548. We also have our Navajo County website. If you go under the public health link, there is an oral health subsection.
Before we go, because we're going to be running short on time here in a moment, but wanted to see, is there anything else that you really want people to know about oral hygiene?
You know, it seems to be a scary experience for most, but if we create that behavior and that habit, it's just a basic cleaning every year.
Just a basic cleaning every year would do it?
Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad then. I didn't hear any root canal conversation
No,
in that. Or I
no,
didn't
no.
Hear, okay, I'm going to tell my doctor that wants to do that. You said I didn't have to.
You're
so.
right.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate
Absolutely.
the outreach that you guys are having with our citizens and getting this message out to the community. So thank you for your time and effort. Shauna, we certainly appreciate you being here with us on the show today. And thank you for joining us on Navajo County Connection. We'll see you next time.